Okay, morning, folks. Welcome to briefing on Saturday the 13th. Certainly looks flyable out there at the moment. I can hear the fog running up by the sounds of it. So hopefully we'll get some flying in today. If you look at the BBC this morning, you can see a sort of a ribbon of clear air down the middle of the country. And this is basically why it is. There's sort of old low pressure system and a weak front going down East Anglia, giving cloud for most of the day in that area. There's a front coming in here, it's trailing into here. I think there is bits of rain still on it right out to the west. A clear band in the middle with a faint ridge of high pressure, I think is the best word for it, and a light northwesterly flow. It's not a proper northwesterly, because actually the air, if you look at it, it's tracking round from the southwest and then coming back down a bit from the north, so it's not going to be particularly cold, but not particularly windy by the spacing on the isobars. 10 knots, I think, from the northwest. The TAF's suggesting Farnborough. Okay, that's hasn't changed much. It's a good sign. Farnborough says 310 9 knots, 10k viz, and scattered at 2,000 feet. It looks a bit overcast at the moment. The METARs were saying that's between sort of 2,500 and 3,000 feet above the local airfields, so it's reasonably high. There might be some low bits, but it'll certainly go up and break up today. It should be quite nice. Gatwick obviously gives a slightly longer forecast, and they are just saying, you know, largely the same thing, but tempo, some low cloud to start off with. But tomorrow again looks quite nice, but the wind going around northeasterly and a little bit cooler, I think. Upper winds, I think over us 320, 330, 15 knots, so not a lot stronger than it is on the ground, really, because there's no real jet stream or anything over us driving it along. And the sat pic shows still a little bit cloudy in here. These bright whiter bits here are rain in the West Country. We're in this sort of band here. I think it will break up and will be certainly in the best weather. The rain, I mean, there's only a few showers down over here, and they've died out actually in the last 20 minutes, half an hour. So I think we're going to be clear all day. Unlikely to see any rain at all. And temperature-wise, 13 degrees. BBC was suggesting 14 over the course of the day. I probably won't quite feel like that sat at the launch point or stood at the launch point with the wind, but pleasant enough, about average for this time of year, really. Top meteo saying by 10 o'clock there's the clear band over us, it breaking up, things improving, and they're talking about chance of cumulus at about 2,000 to 2,500 feet this afternoon. That's sort of 2 o'clock, and then up to 5 o'clock it stays quite nice up to the getting dark. This is the next little front that's coming in. It's going to lurk over here a little bit tomorrow and then break up, and should be flyable from mid-morning by the looks of it tomorrow. I think a chance of a little bit of local soaring, hopefully. Let's see if top meteo will load and show you what cloud bases I was looking at earlier, and it's around about sort of 600 to 700 meters. So chance of something this afternoon. Things to think about: low cloud, just to start off with for a little bit, but I think that'll break up fairly quickly, and a slight breezy northwesterly, so a bit turbulent behind the trees, and we'll talk about how we're going to operate with that in a minute. Local airspace wise, nothing really much going on. Number 5 is Southampton's hours of operation, just daylight hours and a bit beyond. 11 is gliding at Middle Wallop, 12 is the high intensity radio transmissions at Boscombe Down, and 14 is there's no danger area crossing service available for Salisbury Plain. Apart from that, absolutely clear in here. So no airspace issues. Jet movements, none today, but we have 3 Navajos potentially coming in. I've just seen the flight plans filed for those. One coming in at 9:30, and then that's going to pick up, drop some crew off, pick up another aircraft, and both of those will then go out at about 11 o'clock. So flexible on the timing, but potential for 3 Navajo movements won't really affect us very much if they land over the top of the launch point vehicle if it's out. In terms of operations, be on 27, and the grass is going to be a little bit damp because it did rain a reasonable amount yesterday. So we're going to have combined runway operations with the cables being towed along the north side of the grass, winch launching from the northern bit of the runway here, launch point vehicle in the middle, and aero towing from the southern edge of the runway. And if you're aero towing, can you put your glider right on the edge, wheel on the edge of the runway, to give us as much room between the gliders and the launch point vehicle, because it is a bit tight and congested when the retrieve truck certainly is moving around in this area here. So just be aware of that. If you're maneuvering around at the launch point, just do it slowly because we've got a slightly tight operation. Grass is fine to land on, and again, circuit to the north, land to the north, circuit to the south, land on the southern grass. A bit soggy just in this bit here and right down on the southern part of the airfield, but perfectly all right to operate on. Okay, so looks all right out there. If you could you're on the list, or the instructors get the gliders out, and we'll get going as soon as we can.